he right away smells it. Like,
Who's smoking in there?
give you 3 guesses who just left.
All right, the attendance tonight was 20,023, sold out. Gate was 11.01 million, highest grossing event in the arena's history. Fight of the night, Elliot, Lerone, Carlos, and Hamzat, they all won $50,000. Hi.
Hello. We'll start with the main event. Incredible energy in the crowd, incredible fight itself. Hamzat's performance, was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Give us your takeaway of it. And did you see before this fight that being the possible way it was going to play out?
No. The lead up to this fight, I said, I bet the main event is the fight of the night. Didn't see that coming, but not shocked either. I mean, you go in and dominate the way that he dominated. If you can do it the first round, more than likely you can do it the second and throughout the rest of the fight.
Yeah. There was a time, and it was in the promos leading up to this fight, you said Hamzat was special, one of the most special guys you've ever seen. Do you think he's lived up to that yet, or does he still have a little ways to go because he's been a bit more inactive since he's...
The night when we were on Fight Island, he said, I want to fight next Saturday. Ever since then, the guy's been a rocket ship, and obviously is very popular too. People love him. Fighting back here in the United States, and obviously Chicago loved him too.
Do you hope that he can maybe start getting back towards the levels of activity we saw at the beginning of his UFC career?
He's the champ now, so.
Okay. And what did you think of DDP's performance, right? Obviously, he was outmatched in the wrestling, never gave up, though. Even in the last round, he started landing his own shots. What did you make of DDP and his toughness to survive 5 rounds?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I had every round at 10-8, maybe except for the last round. But to be in the position that he was in and the crucifix and just getting dominated on the ground and punched in the face and elbowed, and it's a very frustrating place to be in. I thought he handled it well and came out every round, trying to get in the fight and try to win. Yeah. Impressive.
On the crucifix, it's a weird one, right? They're landing strikes. He's landing like 200 punches around, but they're not quite hard enough to end the fight. Are you glad the referee doesn't wave a fight off in that position?
Listen, I don't know how hard they are, and I don't want to fucking know how hard they are. Nobody wants to be in a crucifix getting punched in the head like that. It's got to be the most frustrating, suck the heart and soul right out of you type thing to happen. And just getting dominated on the ground the way that he did is no fun for anybody. I wouldn't say that, he's getting pitted-patted striked. I mean, his face was pretty busted up. The knees that he was taking to the body and to the legs and the hips, and it's going to be a long ride home to South Africa.
And then Lerone Murphy, I don't think anything is guaranteed in this sport in terms of getting title shots and stuff like that, but if there's a way you could get as close to guaranteed as possible, he must have done that tonight with that spinning elbow.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to say with a guy who has a record like he has and sits where he sits in the division, to say that tonight was sort of a coming out party for him, but it definitely was.
Alex Volkanovski has said he would like to fight him in December. It's not often you see a champion calling out the challenger. Could be interested.
I love it.
And then as far as Carlos Prates, another spinning back elbow and finish, crazy stuff. Wants to fight in Rio. You gave him that fight against who, we're not sure. But MVP was here earlier and said he would step in and fight in Brazil.
Yeah. We'll see when we get back. And, Jeff Neal came in very confident that he was going to finish him and knock him out. And for Carlos what an unbelievable performance he put on. Incredible fight.
And were there any medical updates on Jeff and Aaron, because they were down for a while after those knockouts?
Yeah, well, Pico was transferred, and I haven't heard anything about Jeff. I think he's okay. But Pico, I'm no doctor, but I'm going to say he has a concussion for sure. But we haven't heard anything back that anything bad is happening. He's getting checked for his head and face.
Tim Elliott just became, I think, tied Figueiredo for the most wins in UFC flyweight history. His next fight, he says, is his last on his contract. Are you interested in staying in the Tim Elliott business?
Absolutely. I mean, look at what he did tonight, how he came out and performed. Yeah.
And then by Sunger, the guy you labeled Billy at the Jimmy at what did you make of his performance? Obviously, a lot of hype coming in. A bit of a rocky first round, but he still pulled it off.
Yeah, listen, if you look at what this guy did, he takes a fight on 4 days' notice, wins, and comes back and fights another fight on 4 days' notice. I mean, just the pressure alone of what that kid probably had to deal with is impressive. And I also love Nolan. I went up there and told him after the fight, go home, relax, spend some time with your family, enjoy yourself. You're not going anywhere. We're going to sign him to a deal.
Just last one for me. I don't know if any fighters have talked to you, but I guess there was some issue with the official scale at weigh-ins. A lot of fighters were heavier than their scales were. Did that get back to you? And a lot of them were like, can we just get digital scales at this point?
Not at all. It's the first I'm hearing of it.
I guess MVP, they said he was overweight for middleweight. Dricus was very annoyed that the scale he was using all week was not the same as the official scale and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of fights don't come to Chicago. We haven't been here in 6 years, so, I don't expect things to always be perfect. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, but the event went very well. I thought the officials did a great job, and, I didn't hear about the scale. But that's a pain in the ass. I agree. It's unfortunate that it happened.
Dana, speaking of the scales, Brian Battle missed weight for this card. It was second straight weight miss in 2 different divisions. People are just wondering kind of what his status is after that.
I haven't thought about it yet. We'll get home and figure it out.
Yeah. How big do you think Hamzat can be? Like, our numbers this week have felt, kind of extraordinary. I don't know it, the pay-per-view, all that type of stuff.
I agree. No, we felt the same.
Yeah. Do you feel like he can be the biggest star in the sport soon here?
Yeah. He's a big star now. He's a big star. When you're asking me, you're saying how much bigger can he be? I don't know. We'll see. But he's already a big star. Everything about this fight was big, from pay-per-view to all the numbers that we were looking at. And just being here in Chicago, the last 3 days here felt big.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight in the arena was insane. Yeah, he's a star. I don't know if you're asking me how much more of a star can he be. We'll see.
He had said all fight week he wants to turn around and fight in Abu Dhabi. Is that something you would consider, or do you feel like with the heavyweight title already on that card, like he maybe?
I just had a kid fight Tuesday and wanted to turn around and come here. I would Abu Dhabi. I would definitely consider.
Yeah, and so many great potential contenders right now, right? We had the great Fluffy win, Renier de Ridder. We have a huge fight in Paris. Are you just kind of waiting for the Paris one and then maybe see the lay of the land of who could be next?
I'm waiting for Tuesday, and then but yeah, I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah, and a lot of talk this week about the new TV deal, all that type of stuff. I know probably not much has changed in terms of meetings or anything since Tuesday, but I'm curious, when you talk about the bonuses and changing that, would you ever consider implementing just a finish bonus instead of performance ones? Like, you get a finish, that's the bonus for you?
Finishes are part of it. Finishes are part of the. When you think about it, other than Hamzat, the finishes were the other bonuses. But I think you have to mix everything into the equation. A great performance. I don't want to put myself in a box with just finishes.
Mm-hmm. And on the topic of fire pay, some people were wondering if you would ever consider moving away from the show win model and maybe doing like flat purses across the.
Listen, man, this business has worked just fine. The model isn't broken. I love when people who have no fucking idea what they're talking about and don't know anything about the business give input. It's fun.
There was a report that the UFC Apex is going to be expanded to have like 10 to 15,000.
That was the biggest bullshit story ever written. It's fucking unbelievable. They quoted people that literally said nothing to them, never spoke to them or anything. That entire story was a fucking absolute bullshit lie. The craziest thing we've ever seen. I fucking called Lene and said, Lene, this whole story is a lie. Everything about it is a lie, including the people that they quoted. Never talked to them.
So how does that happen?
How does that happen, Lene, the head of PR for the UFC? What did she say? What's the answer?
I don't know. They said we're sorry.
Okay.
They said we're sorry, and they did do a retraction and change it.
Okay, so you're satisfied with the recent construction to the Apex? That's how it's going to be.
Yes, to think that if you look at the construction that's going on at the Apex, to even think that it's going to be a 10,000 seat arena, anyway. Yeah, it's fucking unbelievable. Complete lie. Everything about that story was a lie.
Yeah, I got a question about bonuses. So today it seemed like there was kind of a new thing where there were like instantaneous, the fighters were notified in the...
That's not a new thing. Did you see the fights?
No, they definitely deserved it, but It
was the last 3 fights. So, I was looking at the fights from earlier, they were good, and there was some impressive stuff. Those two fights were like, yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And I knew nothing before it had beat it, and anything after. If anything else was crazier than those, I'd have paid the money. I'd have just said, all right.
Yeah, I was just wondering if that was kind of going to be a new thing moving forward, where you like fighters.
When shit like that happens again, yes, that will be a new thing that will happen moving forward. I mean, if those fights were the second fight on the entire night, I would have said the same thing.
Okay, gotcha.
Somebody would have had to been decapitated for you know what I mean? I don't know what would have been bigger than what happened in those fights.
Okay, I got a question about. We were talking about some people in the main card, but one of the performances that kind of stood out to me was the Gerald Meerschaert performance. I know he's later in the career. He's, in terms of submissions up there in records for the weight class. But I'm wondering, when you saw that performance, do you see performances from veterans like that and wonder, like, okay, is there conversations that you have with vets at that point, or is it you just kind of leave it up to them as to how, if they're going to continue or what have you?
So what are you saying? You're saying that Gerald should be done. He should no longer fight in the UFC.
I don't want to give Gerald advice, but something looked off today.
Oh, it happens. I mean, guys fight, and sometimes things are off. Sometimes you have a bad night. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Myself, I didn't look at that fight and go, holy shit, he's got to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Is the UFC's video game license going to stay with Electronic Arts? And if so, when can we expect EA UFC 6?
I have no idea. That is. There literally couldn't be a thing furthest from my mind and thoughts right now than that. But we love EA Sports. We have great relationships there. It's been a great partnership. I don't know the answer to that question.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Dana, a really fun night here in Chicago. Just looking forward, I know there's been so much speculation about the White House card. I've seen a lot, obviously, of what you said recently to Jim Rome. Just wondered, at this point, is there anything in the next few months or several months that John could do where you could say, okay, I actually trust him to put him on that card?
Let me ask you, what do you think John would do in the next couple of months that would make me trust putting him on the White House card?
Well, I would not trust him, but I would like to see him fight Aspinall on that card down the road.
So I already said that I don't trust him, and you're asking me what could he do for me to trust him in the next 3 months. You don't trust him.
Well, yes, but you talk to him. I don't.
Yeah. No, I don't talk to him either. I haven't talked to him at all.
Well, there's a greater chance you'll talk to him than I'll talk to him.
Yeah. I would not bet on, if I had to make odds, it's 1,000,000,000 to 1 that I put John Jones on the White House card.
All right, I think that ends the questions on it.
Yeah.
What did you think of the energy in all week in Chicago? I mean, the fans were insane.
Let me tell you what. This city is awesome. It's beautiful. The food is off the charts, and to be back here after 6 years, the arena was really, really good to us, and the fans here were amazing. It was an incredible week, and I'm glad we chose to come here with this fight.
Speaking of food, you already said earlier on, you told Gary Breck on video, you're just like, hey, sorry.
Yeah, no, I've had Lou Malnati's twice since I've been here. I ate at Portillo's. We ate at Gibson's last night. It was amazing. And I told my assistant, find the best sandwich shop in town, and I want sandwiches on the way home. So, yeah, incredible. And the desserts over at Gibson's. If you've never eaten at Gibson's Steakhouse, the steak, everything, it's phenomenal. The desserts are some of the best desserts you'll ever have. They're massive. Yeah.
There you go.
If you're a fat boy like me, get over to Gibson's. And if you don't like anything on the menu, eat the dessert.
There you go. Last one for me. Just a question for about Joseph Morales. How do you put, I guess, how do you look at his story? Leaving the UFC in 2019, going to Cage Warriors, going around, earning a spot on The Ultimate Fighter, and then winning the entire thing to come back and earn a spot back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't know where you were going with that at first. Yeah. Great story. I mean, what the kid has accomplished after, I wouldn't call him down and out, but, the position he was in, and to come back and win this, it's incredible. I love stories like that. And I love, for these two kids to come off the Contender Series. And, he comes off the Contender Series, and then Nolan takes the fight on 4 days' notice. They come in and put on a fight like that. I put them on the main event on ESPN, and they come in and deliver like they did. I love that shit. This is what it's all about. That's why I told Nolan, go home, enjoy yourself. I respect you for stepping up, and you're not going anywhere. And that kid's a dog. I mean, he fought like a dog. Former Marine, another great story. I love it. So we're going to take care of him. We'll see him fighting again in the UFC.
Right here in the middle. Go ahead. Socks hat. Oh, yeah.
Everybody's been saying it all week. It's been 6 years since the UFC has returned to, or has been in Chicago. Was there any specific reason why it's taken so long?
Yeah, COVID. COVID happened, and then once the world started, you knew my stance during the whole COVID thing. We went through COVID, and then when everything opened up again, I was only going to states that were easy to do business in, and only going to states that would let me do full arenas. So that happened for a couple of years or whatever, and then then we hadn't been to so many places. There's so many options right now. But like I said, it's good to be back.
And as you said, there's so many options, but with a night like tonight, is Chicago sort of on the top tier of that list after tonight?
Yeah. I mean, I love Chicago. I literally have been up here yapping for 15 minutes about how much I love it here. We'll just have to see how this plays out schedule-wise and with the new network and all the things that we got going on. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to come back to Chicago as much as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana, over here real quick. Speaking of the new network deal, how much, I know you probably want to build as big of a card as possible for that first Paramount card. When do you guys start putting that together, and are you wanting this to be kind of like one of those super cards that you were talking about putting simulcasting on CBS, or will this just be kind of more of a traditional great card that you guys put on?
Here's the thing about being in this business, right? If you look at all the things that we accomplish, and at the end of every year, I'm always sitting in front of you guys going, I don't know how we're going to beat this last year, but we always seem to do it. You never stop proving yourself. You always have to get out and keep grinding. And in September, we're getting together. We're getting both the teams, my team and their team, together. We're going to start game planning and working on how this is all going to work and how we can all work together. And ESPN has been incredible. These guys are like, we're going to help you as much as we can in the transition. Anything you need from us. We have an incredible relationship with them. I still have an incredible relationship with Fox. And we had a good relationship with Spike when we left there too. The guy Philippe Dumont, I'm sure you've all heard me and how I feel about that fucking guy, but who was one of the executives at the company back then, I'm not a fan of, but every other relationship I've ever had with all these networks, I still have, and nothing. There'll be no difference with ESPN when we leave. And I don't know what the fuck you asked me or where I'm going right now, but we got a lot of work to do. That's the answer to your question.
And then, speaking of the deal, and I know obviously you still have a great relationship with ESPN, the Contender Series is still on ESPN. Do you guys have kind of an ETA of what you're looking at in terms of the rights deal for Tough and the Contender Series? Because I believe you said that was not part of the original deal with that Paramount.
Yeah, so what's your question about it?
Do you guys have kind of a rough timeline of when you're wanting to get a rights deal for those two entities?
We haven't even got the teams together to talk yet, and there's still a lot of work to do.
All right. Thank you, Dana.
Yep.
Dana over here, former Celtic Kristaps Porzingis, he said he was interested in fighting for the UFC, and his post-NBA dreams were to be in MMA. What are your thoughts on that, and would you be open to that now that he's not on your Celtics?
I like him. He's a great guy. That's a tough transition to leave basketball and come fight in the UFC. But I love that that's how he feels, and we'll see when he retires. And once you'd have to fight some amateur fights, and once you get a couple fights under your belt, or one, you might change your mind. I don't know. We'll see. But I like him. I'm not gonna, say I wouldn't do anything with the guy or anything like that. Consider him a friend. So,
congrats on a great night.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. You guys done with me? Yeah. Have a great night. Thanks, guys, and thank you, Chicago.